Didn't we get that exact same title last time? Alright, everybody. We're gonna be working on some programming stuff. Apparently. Fight or flightless. Alright. So there's what we got so far. That'll work. That'll work. That. Alright, let's do the thing. Okay, so didn't do a whole lot last week. Mostly polished up some stuff regarding currency collection. I still don't really love the hotkeys I've got. I don't know what we're going to do with it exactly. But tonight, what I want to work on is perhaps the main game loop. The scenarios, as I'm going to be calling it. So let's see here. How are we going to make that? How are we going to make that work? Let's move this over here. Move this over here. So I think, here, let's just scrap paper right here. So we're going to have some sort of scenario object. So a scenario object will contain... Do we want to have a name of this? Probably not. A list of waves, and we'll define exactly what a wave looks like. But that'll be an enemy set, effectively. We want to list out the starting tiles, the level layout. This one's gonna be tricky. I don't know exactly how we're gonna format it, but it'll be some kind of object probably. Anything else that we need special rules in place? There's probably gonna be something that limits which items are available per purchase per level. So I can imagine, like in a tutorial level, that you're only going to have access to the basics while you learn how the game works. So, I don't know, maybe we have some kind of weird special case of, you know, special rules that we can, like, I don't know, define special things like that. Actually, that would probably be one of these, so we could say, like, forbidden buildings, and then that's like a list, but then you could have another rule for... Basically, these would be like the overrides. Like, you've got your default behavior of the game, but then you've got your kind of special overrides, where it's like, in this one, you don't start with any money. Oh, it's special. Still a bit sniffly. I'm paranoid that one of these times after I bend down to blow my nose, I'm gonna pop back up to see that I did not successfully mute the microphone. Alright, layout. So this is just kind of like the list of how the tiles are set up. And we're looking at this example map we've got here. This is 13 by 13 is the main grid. So what kind of information do we want to include here? We want to know exactly where each tile is. Oh, and I need to check the Discord, yeah. Oh, I think this is because, so Twitch, like, messed with all of the integrations. So, yeah, because I had to reconnect YouTube. And so I'm betting that something on the Discord side is also a little bit screwed up, because it doesn't realize that I am, in fact, online right now. Let's take a look at there real quick. Connections. Oh, it's trying to be helpful and prevent me from... Yeah, all right, I'll deal with it later. That's a good question. All right, so we've got some possibilities here. Layout could be a big list of tiles where we define every single location of a starting tile and what kind of tile it is. Now that would be pretty huge. That's a little ugly. Another alternative is that layout could instead be like a single string. So we could instead define it in ASCII format. So for instance, a space for water, and then I don't know, G for ground. And then we just do new lines, and then we can have a starting snowman, or, you know, the player's starting location. You know, this kind of thing right here. It's, all right, so the advantage here, and like starting walls, perhaps, which we would find some kind of good way to represent that. The advantage here, immediately human readable. Disadvantage is I have to do a little bit more parsing. I'm gonna have to do parsing either way. That's the thing. Like, even if I do this very explicit format, that still involves some parsing. This actually might work for us. And that's very good for sharing level. Like, if you generate a custom scenario with whatever level editor we build, being able to see the layout in whatever code generation we do, that works pretty well, honestly. So, you know what, maybe... I've done this before. Let me see if I can find... Oh, where was it? That'd be a ways back. Let's see. Let me open up some old folders here. Let me look how I did an old project of mine. So I did a project a while back. It was based on an old SNES game called Camel Tree. Here we go. So let's see here. Oh, it's pre-built. Dang it. Of course it is. Oh, that means it's all going to be one massive file as a result. Oh, but there it is. There's the generated levels. But because it's all built in one file, it doesn't have the new lines anymore. So it's very difficult to read. And lots of special characters. Well, So that's the general idea, is that we can do something like this, where we can basically use a text string to build our levels. And we'll try to make it smart about centering. Like if I have just a 4-row level, it will center the whole thing instead of having it just be the top 4 rows. I'm okay with that layout. Okay, so that'll be our layout. It will essentially be a string, just a string. Rules will typically be blank or completely omitted. This will probably be something that we build in later as we keep coming up with new things. The advantage of having this be an object instead of several different extra properties on this main scenario object, I think, would be that it puts a little bit more responsibility on the level parser. Granted, we're not doing TypeScript. We're kind of playing it loose. It's JavaScript, so we don't really need to worry a whole lot about like object schema and the shape of the object that the scenario represents. But I don't know. I think this will work for us for now. For one thing, it's a little bit cleaner if we know that, all right, scenario has 3 properties, that's it. But this third property, this is kind of the catch-all for all the extra stuff that we didn't explicitly define. All right, waves. Okay, so this is where we're gonna have a list of wave objects. What does a wave object look like? A wave is gonna be something like spawn 20 penguins. So, give it the enemy constructor name. I think, can we get away with that? Oh no, because it's a class, isn't it? Yeah. What's an easy way to do this? Yeah, penguin is a class. I can reference it like this. Let me see here. In vanilla JavaScript, can I construct an object from the name of the class? Ooh, yeah. So I've got the window object. Alright, this does... Okay. Ooh, what is this? I've never seen this syntax for this before. I feel like I've solved this problem before. I've never seen it done quite like this. Let me see, does this actually work? No. Yeah, class penguin definitely exists. So how do we instantiate that? Can I instantiate that from this, or do I need to actually reference? I can do it this way. I can reference the class itself, but that doesn't work if I'm like importing something. That works fine for statically defined scenario waves, but this is going to be different. We want this to be, although it's going to be a while before we build a level editor or anything like that, it is going to require that we can construct an object from the name of a class. Let's see. Does anybody have a good solution for that? Oh, see, now people are bringing up like factory patterns. A backstory for this game. Oh, well. I mean, as far as I know so far, these penguins are just angry. That's about the most I know so far. I'm open to whatever. Headcanon and canon are pretty much interchangeable right now. Gwyn Penguin. I mean, why not? Penguin. Ah, there it is. That makes sense. Oh, it specifies this won't work for ES6 classes. Okay, that's why that one wasn't working. Oh, I don't want to build my list of classes. King Penguin. Perfect. I mean, it's not out of the question, but it would mean I have to remember to do it every time. Basically, what I would need to do here is have a like an enemy directory, which has to be maintained in some sense. I really don't like having to... It's a small amount of work. It's a very small amount of work. Because it effectively boils down to just one extra line per class. Not that much at all. But it's not about the amount of work it is. It's more about the fact that I have to remember to do it. It's more of a... There's a mental load, a sort of mental burden. Every time I want to add an enemy, I have to remember not to... Don't forget about that one extra line. Hello, Hudson. Hope you're doing well tonight. I'm doing okay. A little bit of a sore throat. A little sniffly, but making it through. Eats all the penguins. I don't know, a walrus might be an enemy. It's going around. Alright, I think we are going to have to do this. We're going to have to make like an enemy manifest, an enemy factory. Enemy manager. Sure. Alright, so what is this enemy manager gonna do, basically? Well, It's more of a class factory, but whatever. Just gonna make it an object, and that's it. Oh, you bet, Kip. We're gonna have upgradable units, upgradable enemies, probably. I don't know how that's gonna work. Bosses, oh gosh. But probably. There we go. That's all we have to do right there, is just define enemy classes dot penguin equals penguin. That's all it takes. Hudson, thank you. $10 going to Camp Horizon. Much appreciated. Let's see. Now, so now we can reference enemies by their name instead of by their actual class definition. All right, so what does a wave look like? It's huge. Oh boy. You've got a lot to burn. Not as many as GameCube. Wheel of Dobbs was so much fun. I gotta say, that was a fantastic time. It all came together at the end. I don't know who all got to see Wheel of Dobbs, but oh man, what an evening to remember. It was amazing. Let's see here. It was so good. Oh my gosh. Here. Let's just take a moment. Don't worry, I grabbed some clips.
I will spin the wheel again, please, Dobbs.
All right, let's give it a spin.
Oh, here we go. Poor Germ Dove.
Oh, unfortunate. I'm sorry, Germ Dove. Turtle, it's your turn.
I would like to solve the puzzle.
All right, you may.
The phrase is, haven't you ever seen a pig?
Yes, that is correct.
Oh man. It was so fun. And Germ Dove kept landing on the lose a turns and the bankrupt. No. All right. So we're going to give them, each wave is going to have, all right, here's what the enemy is. Here's how many there are, which we're going to call that the count. 20 penguins. And then upgrades. 32 penguins. You know what? That makes sense. Oh, I need to identify where they're gonna come from. Which that's gonna be X something, Y something. You know, we gotta list where the penguin should spawn in. I think the duration is not going to be too much of an issue. We'll probably dynamically determine that. How about delay? Because, like, you might want to have 2 waves spawn at once. We may not want to have penguins spawn, like, alright, you spawn, now you spawn. Now you spawn, now you spawn. We may want both waves to spawn at the same time. Well, actually, I can't think of many... Well, okay, I can think of a few uses. Once all penguins in a wave are destroyed... You know what? We may just want to have things just spawn. One after another. Like, one wave happens, and then immediately the next wave happens. This could be tricky. It's one of those things that we can build onto this schema as we go. We don't have to define everything up front. Yeah, auto mode. It may just, like, trigger the next wave. Well, I want to go auto mode because I want the time it takes for you to run around the map to actually matter. So right now, you have to go and, like, go to these little snowbanks to grab more currency. And they do run out eventually, but I like the idea of you can't just sit there and do that for the entire game. You have to move around a little bit more. So I think for now, so there will need to be delays. Which I think, all right, here's one way you could make that happen. Is we have a dummy nothing enemy. Like, all right, spend 64 time units generating nothing at nowhere. And so we can kind of bake in a delay item there, like that. But getting 2 waves to spawn at the same time, that's still a trick. Hate it. I do too. But the alternative is I have to list a start time for each wave. Like, okay, this one starts at 100, this one starts at 150. And that creates 2 problems. Let's do it like this. That creates 2 problems. First problem, if I'm looking at the schema, I have no idea what this is. Is this seconds? Is this frames? How big of a time unit is this? Which could be fixed by just changing the name of it. The other problem is, let's say I've got a very complicated wave built already. And then while I'm tweaking it, I decide that this first wave needs to happen 10 units later. I have to go through and edit every single wave now because of that, which I don't like that. I don't like that. So, what's a better way to make that happen? Like, how do we want these waves to be defined? So we're gonna have, like, wave 1 happens of penguins. Wave 2 happens. We want the ability to space things out so you have some time. We want that to be an ability. But we also want the ability to occasionally have two waves happen simultaneously. Like, okay, first you got the penguins from the left. Then you got penguins from the left and penguins from the right. Then you get a break where you can kind of rebuild some new walls, that sort of thing. Dang it, Turtle. You got me. Enjoy your space. Okay. So I've got one problem that we can kind of solve with a sort of a delay wave. Which we could just format it like this. Delay for 32 spawn periods. So it'll last as long as a 32 penguin wave, but nothing actually happens during that time. It's a break. So that's one thing we can do for that. For this. Here's an idea. Here's an idea. When you want to have two waves spawn at the same time, what if it's a flag on the wave? That the next wave is also going to happen when this one starts. Wave stack or something. So this tells me, hey, whenever this wave starts, if it's got wave stack set to true, that means the next wave also starts at the same time. Now this still allows us to have like a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5 setup. It's just that wave 1 and 2 are happening simultaneously. But wouldn't it be better? Alright, remove start time. Because we've already decided that's not, we don't like that. One option, though it really muddies up our schema, is we do this, where we can have a wave can be a list of waves. A single wave can be a list of waves. Okay, we can make that, actually, we can make that work as being the main, like the actual format of this. Make it an object. Get the emulation stuff for $50. Nice. Let's call these individual things the spawns of a wave, and it's always a list. It's always a list of things. It's just sometimes it's a single thing, like that. I don't like this delay. I don't like this that this has nothing. Like, it makes me feel like that should also be a viable property on the regular object, where it just is set to 0. Like, maybe that's... I don't know. Alright, so I could do a duration property. But I really don't like it. Because I feel like the duration is kind of like, I don't know. Like, it's just the time it takes to spawn 64 penguins. Alright, so what we're getting at right now is we're trying to define, like, the waves, how we define waves of enemies in the game. Like, alright, first you're gonna face 32 penguins. Then you're gonna face 32 penguins and 64 penguins from the flank. Then you're gonna get a break. And then you're gonna face 32 more penguins or something. Yeah, I want to try and land on a good solid schema early in the process. Like, if we really figure this out, we could have things like dialogue occurring built into our waves, like, you know, story and stuff. This one I still hate. I hate that this is like this weird special case property, but it makes sense. See, here's the trick here, is like, what does delay actually mean? What if I have a delay of 16 and I have some actual spawns in a single wave object? Does that mean spawn all of these and then wait for 16? Probably. Honestly. Let's see. Is there anything else we want to put in a wave? Do we want to name the waves? Is that useful at all? Like you could have like an announcement in the game where it has text that appears and says like, oh, you know, watch your flank. Something like this. That could be useful. Yeah, and then have final wave or something. Yeah, that could add a lot more flexibility to people that are building scenarios out. Okay, so I think that's kind of what a scenario is going to look like. It's going to have a list of waves. Each wave has a name and a list of spawns. Which, that's super nice because that means we can spawn from 2 different spots at once. We can spawn 2 different types of enemies, whatever else. And that handles our rest time. A scenario also includes a layout, which is going to be our list of, like, which tiles, what's the starting position of the map. You know, how's the iceberg built? Where's our fort? Where's our water? Do we have any starting walls? All of that stuff. And then we'll have a final object built for little override rules. Which we don't really know what that's going to look like yet. That could be something like what items are available from the start. Like what buildings are available from the start. How much money you start with. All of that. Okay, so I think that will be our scenario object. So let's add our actual scenario. .js here. Alright, so we can take this whole object. And we're just going to call that our sample scenario for now. Alright, so for our layout, we need... A lot of the information we're about to set up is going to be reused by the level editor at some point. Not yet, but soon. We're going to define our tile directory. And this is going to be our way of defining, like, okay, if you've got a G, that's this tile. If you've got a P, that's this tile. And for a lot of these, that's multiple tiles. Let's see. All right, now we gotta pick something that's nice and easy to read. Space is nothing, so that's easy. Ground. Period. Like that. Is that decent? Or maybe we want to use underscores. Or a left bracket. Trying to find some shape. That is not super obvious. Hey, thank you for the follow. What is nothing? Nothing is the water. Nothing is just the blankness of the water. So I think that... Oh, and Rainberry / Zombie Slicer. Thank you for $5 going to Camp Horizon tonight. This is going to be something like defining, like, okay, if you have a pound symbol in your layout manifest of your scenario, that's going to be defined by the following sprites that need to be spawned. It is... A lot of them are going to be ground. How did we define that? Ground tile, which takes a tile X and tile Y. Ground tile, and then I think, at least for now, as long as these constructors line up, we can just do it this way. So if you got a pound sign, that means put a ground tile there and then put a wall on top. Easy. Now, what should ground be, though? A dash. I'm good with dash. Ground tile. And then we need to have one for the main base, which I think hat symbol would work there. Which will always be on a ground tile. Followed by our South Pole. Hello? South Pole? Oh, there it goes. Okay, we're good. Someone comes to your stream and say hi, and then I ask how they're doing. They post a level ID. 5 minutes later, randomly say impossible. Classic. The classic experience. Excuse me, guys. All right, so that's how we're gonna kind of build our setup there. What else? What else? Want to become famous? Did you even have viewer levels listed in the name or tags? Well, there you go. All right. Just make exclamation mark add a filtered term. You can block terms in your moderation settings somewhere. And so I think if you try to use a block term, like the message just doesn't go through. All right. So let's see. We're gonna have our layout and our waves. Current scenario. Do we need a current scenario? I guess we do need to know about the waves. Oh, nice. Even better. Alright, let's see here. So we'll have a function here to load scenario. So let's do a sample layout here. That's walls. What's our ground tile? We went with hyphen. There we go. Except let's round out the corners a little bit. Let's put a nice little. Let's put our big winning location there. And let's even go ahead and start out with some pre-made walls here to really ramp it up. All right, so there's our basic example layout. So we want to do, first off, we want to clear out all the existing sprites. When we load a scenario, just delete everything. Any existing tiles need to leave right away. Then we need to center this thing. So we're talking like, oh wait, actually we're good there. So we want to look for, oh gosh, here's the tricky thing is like, yeah, this automatic, super helpful, quote unquote, there we go, that's a little bit better. This helpful, tabbing over of some of these strings. Let's see, we do want to allow blank lines. Alright, so let's see. Rows is our scenario.layout.split on a new line. So let's see here. So if I do this, yeah, I get empty at the start and the end. That makes sense. Which I think we can safely trim off start and end empty strings. So probably what we'll do there is while rows sub 0 Dot trim. Actually, is that vanilla? Is that vanilla JavaScript? It is vanilla JavaScript. All right. So if I give you just an empty string, yeah, perfect. All right. Trim length equals 0. Rows dot. Oh, what is it? Shift, unshift. Oh, I get you, Mantis. It is shift. Okay. Rows dot shift. Perfect. All right, so that's just going to remove all of the empty stuff from the start of the list. We've had a fun night tonight. We're starting the potty training. So that's fun. Hey, Burger. I do get you. Burger, hope you're having a good night. Or early morning, I guess.
These penguins are pretty good runners, but can they shadow walk? Speaking of powerless death fodder, tune in for all new episodes of Dobbs Quest returning next Monday, given that the world doesn't end before then.
We're finally gonna make it happen. All right. I know, right? Good point, Turtle. I did, in fact, mute it. I'm a bit sniffly. All right, so what this is going to do is remove blanks from beginning and end. Oh, I took a nap today, and let me tell you, it was something special. I haven't taken an actual nap in a long time. But I just couldn't stay awake today. Alright, so do this, do this. Nice, okay, that leaves us with just the rows we want. No nap for Burger. 2 weeks off school, nice. Built in a lab. Alright, so that leaves us with just these 7 rows here. And from this point, we will start trying to determine the proper length. Now, it's going to be left justified, which is fine. November. Hey, November's not that far off. So let's see. Now we know the total number of rows we're dealing with. So in this case, we've got 7. So we're going to want to start us off at -3. So y is going to equal rows dot length divided by 2. Math dot floor of that. Is that -3? No, that's just 3. That makes sense. let's see here. If I had 6 rows, that would also start at -3. That's fine. 5 starts at -2. 8 starts us out at -4. Yeah, that works. I'm fine with that. Snowplows, not yet. I don't know if machinery will play a point in it, or if it's just gonna be magic snow stuff versus penguins. Pinguinos. And let's see. X is going to be our longest row, is what we're going to base that off of. Which will calculate by doing a math.max on a spread operator of a mapped list. And it'll be negative to start with. Orcas. We could do orcas at some point. I do want to do some kind of unit that, like, I don't know, does better in water or something. Or maybe path finds specifically through water. We'll fix that, Burger, at some point, probably. Icebergs. I don't know what we're gonna do. Like, we got a lot of potential for some really cool units. I'll fix that probably. I mean, yeah, basically. If I don't have anybody I've got to turn this into with specific requests, then yeah, I'll add it if I get around to it. All right, so. X equals 0. Oh yeah, let's find a max X. And a max Y. Oh, max Y is easy. That's just rows.length. Alright, there we go. Now, let X, global warming mechanic. Oh no. Alright, so we're going to grab our character from our layout. And then we're going to compare that against our tile directory. Which is going to be tile directory sub character. And if nothing is there, then empty list. All right, this is a weird little thing you can do in programming. That works in some languages, not in others. It is kind of like a, if this first thing doesn't exist, use the second thing instead. This is actually the OR operator, which you would normally use for checking to see if something is true or something else is true. For instance, is rainy or is Monday? Is an example there. It's like, okay, if this one is true or this one is true, then the whole thing will be true. But here's where it gets kind of here's what you can kind of do with it. The way it's actually processing that, if the first one is true, it doesn't even have to look at the second one because it's an OR operation. An OR operation, if the first one is true, we don't care what the second one is. Doesn't matter. The whole thing is true. However, if the first one is false, then the value of the whole thing is equal to the value of the second thing. Whoa, that sounds pretty weird, doesn't it? But it makes sense if you really think about it. If we're doing X or Y, and I tell you, well, we don't have X, then we're stuck with whatever Y is, whether Y is true or false. So JavaScript is doing an OR operation between these two items, and if this first thing comes back as null or false or 0 or any other number of things, it will instead use the second item to process the OR operation. So that's what we're doing there. Alright, so now for tiles to build, what is our... These are actual... Okay, that's good. That will probably work, honestly, right there. I'm going to see if it does. We're going to try this. So I'm going to load scenario, sample scenario. We did call it sample scenario? I did call it sample scenario. Oh, did I not include scenario yet? I might not have. I definitely did. JavaScript/scenario exists. So, cool. Why does this function not exist then? Oh, invalid shorthand property initializer on line 3. Oh, yep. I'm using equals here when I should be using colon. Alright, that's fair. Oh, and then it doesn't like when I'm actually instantiating this. So we need to move this down a little bit. Alright. There we go. We're finally here. We're finally going to try it out. Nope. This time for sure. Hey, it actually did it. Look at that. There it is, guys. This is our sample scenario. So here's the cool things going on here. It's taking this text representation of our iceberg, and it's turning it into this whole thing. And then the penguins are going right through it because our navigation mesh needs to be redefined at that point. Duh. There we go. Now they're routing around it. Perfect. Yep. There you go. We got it, we got it. Don't worry, I'm on it. Nice. So the nice thing is not only is it building from the defined layout, but also it's actually centering the whole layout, which is nice. I guess we can add in a snowman. That kind of looks like a snowman. Actually, 8 looks like a snowman. So it's very easy for me to define more elements. And there, boom, just like that. Now an 8 represents a ground tile and a snowman. It's that easy. They still don't have a great way of determining which one to target first, it seems. I don't remember how we determined that, but whatever. Alright. So now we have a way of defining new scenarios. Next up is the waves of penguins. Right now we're just spawning penguins every so often. Right here is where we're spawning things. So we're going to take out our penguin spawning algorithm. No more penguins spawn on their own. Now we're gonna make this do it for us. Let's see here. So we can give them a spawn point. Negative 20 seems pretty ridiculous. Also don't know how often to be spawning these. Probably not every frame. Let's see here. So we'll have some kind of, I don't know. Oh, let's do it this way. Let's have a scenario update call. So that way we can have our logic in this file instead of the main file. And all we will do here is we're just going to run our scenario update function. Just like that. So what is occurrence? What do we need to do? We need to handle the waves. So let's see. We're going to be looking at our current wave, right? I think so. Oh, here's an idea. So we talked about, you know, how do I handle, like, do I want to stretch out a scenario? We didn't really talk about this, but let's say the time of spawning a penguin. Let's say the time of spawning any sprite is always the same amount of time. It's longer than a frame, it's less than a second, some amount of time. We'll just call it one spawn. So by that logic, a 16 penguin wave is going to last a quarter of the length of a 64 penguin wave. But what if I wanted to change that? What if I wanted to make this 64 penguin wave happen really fast? Like, all these penguins come really quick. Well, I tossed around the idea of maybe there's some variable where you list the duration of a wave. You know, like, okay, this wave lasts for 16 spawn durations or something. But that gets annoying because, oh, well, if I wanted to actually make this 32 penguins, well, now I've changed the frequency of the penguins. I've very much affected how this wave functions, not just shortened it. So maybe instead of doing that, instead of affecting the duration, what if we give it a ratio of some point, like a spawn speed ratio? Default value of 1.0. So you could slow it down so that this particular enemy is going to spawn half as quickly as a normal enemy, or even a quarter as fast. If you got like some really tough enemies, you want to spawn 8 really tough enemies while you're also facing off against 64 really weak enemies. Or you want these penguins to come at double speed. So I think we'll do something like that. I think that works well. Let's try that. Let's see here. So that means that we're going to be keeping up with our current waves. Now, one thing is, every wave happens distinctly. Although you can have multiple things spawning within a wave, the wave object contains both of those. So we're only going to be dealing with one current wave at a time. And I think that'll be easy enough to just look at whatever the first wave in the list is. As soon as it's done, we can kick it out of the list and move on. We can kind of pop it out of the list. Except it's a shift because JavaScript. All right, so let's see. So we're always going to be dealing with the top wave. So current wave is going to be the current scenario dot waves sub 0. If there is no current wave, for instance, if we have finished all of the waves, then we're done, and we need to do. Eventually, we'll need to do something. Scenario complete, and there'll be some kind of win function there. But typically, we're going to be on a certain wave, like Here They Come wave, which only has a single spawn. So let's see here. Wave timer. Do we want to deal with a wave timer? Like number of frames we've been on this wave, perhaps? I think that would be a good way to deal with it, perhaps. If not, current wave dot timer, then current wave dot timer equals 0, and then we'll do a current wave timer plus plus somewhere. All right. Now, for each of our spawn objects, which that could be nothing, it could be multiple things, whatever. We have some number of remaining sprites we need to build. Waves of water that influence the penguins. Beautiful. And yet, there is something there. Of some way to kind of wash the penguins off course temporarily onto an alternate, slower path, perhaps. Alright, what's our normal speed of penguin spawns? 60 times 3. Maybe every 20 frames. 1. Oh gosh. Let's see here. For let spawns of current wave dot spawns. Oh wait, just spawn. So this spawn object stores a number remaining to be spawned. I think what we'll do spawn dot time remaining until the next one spawns, which that could be if it's or do I need to do a 0 here? Let me think about this. The easy way is just say that every time our wave timer hits a multiple of 20, spawn all of our spawns, and then decrement the number remaining by 1 for each spawn until we have no spawns left. But because we're doing something a little bit different, we're doing a spawn speed ratio. That means we can't really get away with that. And that means each spawn object needs to maintain its own timer? Maybe? Is that true? That can't be right. No, it needs to maintain its own number spawned so far. Spawned so far. I guess that works. Which will start at 0. Technically 1, I guess. No. Set it to 0 initially and then just... Alright, let's think about this. So we're looking to see if it's time to spawn the next one. We have our current wave timer. And then also we have frames per spawn, which is the default. That's going to be our 20 frames. So we want to take current wave timer divided by frames per spawn. So let's say we are at timer of 30, frames per spawn 20, math.floor that to get exactly 1. That's how many we should have spawned by now. Target spawn count. Frames per spawn, but also multiply that whole thing times this spawn's frequency, which is the spawn speed ratio, or 1 if it's null, for instance, or undefined. So if it's set to 2 and we're at 30, then we should actually be at 3 spawns so far. Okay, boom, easy. And then target spawn count is all that. All right. While our number spawned so far is less than the target spawned, because it could be, if our spawn frequency is high enough, it could be that we want to spawn 2 in a single frame. That could happen. So we might not just be spawning 1 when we don't have enough out. We might need to spawn 2 or 3 or 0. But as long as we need to spawn more, go ahead and spawn it. And here's where things get a little bit tricky. We have to look up what enemy this is. Sprite is a new enemy classes sub spawn dot enemy. Ooh, I like that. I do like that quite a bit. Penguins take in a tile X and a tile Y. And a pork. Haven't you ever seen a Borg? No. Alright, add the sprite. Okay, there we go. And then increment the number that we've spawned so far. Is that it? Does that do it? Let's find out. Nope. Penguin can't nav at all. Why can't our penguin navigate? Where is he? He's at... Seems to be in a fine location. I don't see anything wrong with his current location. Why can't he navigate? Oh, he must be too far away, actually. Because our navigation mesh only goes out a certain distance. There we go. Oh, look at that! Here they come. That's a lot of penguins. How many was this going to be? 16? Seems like a lot more than 16, actually. I think something's wrong. I think something is wrong there. That was more than 16 penguins. There's too many penguins. Okay. That looks fine. Oh, target spawn count keeps changing. Oh. I see the problem. I see the problem here. I see the problem here, sweetie. You're not respecting your count. Our target spawn count should never exceed the number defined. right now we're only looking at the time. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yay, and that's all of them. Alright, so we can remove that. And I can look at current scenario dot waves sub 0, and I can see here, yes, in the spawns, that the spawned so far and the count are equal. Perfect. So now what I want to do is I want to check to see if that's true for all of them. Let's see here. Let wave complete. Is wave complete equals current wave dot spawns dot every is every spawn set up such that s dot count is less than or equal to s dot spawned so far. Let's call that our spawns complete, because we're also going to have our delay right here. How are we going to do delay? We're just going to subtract out a number of frames or something. I don't know. If our spawn's complete, then the wave itself has a if it has a delay item on it, then I need to start adding to the delay. Which is going to be the same as frames per spawn, I guess. Let's see here. Current wave dot delay weighted. We're gonna zero that out first. I'm gonna plus it on number of frames. And if we divide that by our frames per spawn, or frames per tick, whatever you want to call that. So, let's see, that is let current pause, and if current pause is greater than or equal to our delay, which is typically going to be nothing. In fact, let's go ahead and check for nothing as well. If all that's true, then wave complete. Next wave. And to do that, we can say current scenario dot waves dot shift, which will pop it off the front of the list, and the next wave should start. So let's see if that works. Here we go. Not that. Alright. Nope, didn't quite work. Alright, sounds good, Hudson. Glad you enjoyed. That's a lot of penguins. Oh, but I'm getting a lot that are stuck. Why am I getting so many that are stuck? Oh, it's because of this one at 15. That's why. Let's just do 8 penguins there. And also, let's do a... I don't know. Yeah. If there's a next wave, then console.log the name of the wave. So this will only happen when one wave ends, but we should see a log message appear. Yep, there we go. Incoming from the flank, it says. And you can see these penguins are coming through a lot faster. Rebuild quickly, and then huge wave approaching. Perfect. The delay even worked. Now, something that does seem a little bit off here. All right, let's try slowing down a penguin spawn. So this first one's actually going to go at half speed. Yep. All right, cool, that worked. And then these huge wave of penguins over here. It's working. The scenario builder is working here. Or scenario loader, rather. This is fantastic. But it leaves a lot left to be done. So here's some of the things that are sort of an issue with this. One, not much parameterization. What are you beeping about? Low battery on the monitor. There we go. No special parameters for individual penguins. If I wanted to say this next wave of penguins has a little bit extra health, I don't have a way to do that yet. And I kind of don't feel like I want to very much. I feel like if we want to have an enemy that has more health, that should just be a separate enemy. Because then we get into this game of incrementally, like, we're not really changing how the enemies work. We're just buffing their health pools. That's boring. We can do so much better than that. We want different types of enemies to have more than just a different image and one different stat. You know, if it's supposed to be like a big soaks up a lot of damage one, then make it so it also moves slower or something. Or make it so that it moves at a different rate while it's underwater. Make it so that it heals when it's underwater. Make some interesting boss fights out of that. You can make some really interesting boss fight scenarios out of that. Oh gosh, they finally killed those 64 penguins. 6 snowmen, not enough for 64 penguins, as it turns out. That's true. That's true. But I don't think that needs to belong to the scenario. I think if there's going to be some difficulty settings, that can be global. And that whoever's designing a scenario does not need to know about what difficulty the player is playing at. Alright. So we still don't have... at some point we can do like text on the screen for when the scenario is starting. Actually, let's go ahead and knock that out while I'm thinking about it. Okay, right here. This is where we're doing... this is how we're doing text, apparently. So we need some way of indicating if the text has been shown yet. If current wave dot timer is less than 60, so we'll show the text for 1 second for now. What's our size here? 600, huh? Where is it? Oh, wait, no, it's a wave-based timer. All right, let's bump that up to 600. I can't see this yet. All right, hold on. Let's change the color. Maybe the problem is I can't read it because it's the same color as the iceberg. Nope, that's not the problem. Maybe the problem is that it's not actually getting triggered here. No, it is. This logic is happening. So canvas dot width over 2. Draws at 10-30. Yeah, it's wave.name. So, oh, where'd it go? Huh. Let's try this. Sorry. I just clicked to like change focus of the window and somehow I hit that specific scene. That was nice. Alright, hold on. Yeah, the text is there. Fill text. Oh. Oh. Dobbs intro jump scare. I see the problem here. we're doing the draw call before our main draw. We shouldn't be doing drawing logic in the update call. So we're going to add some separate logic here. And then we're going to add that to our main draw functionality. There we go. That simple. Alright, so now we can deal with the timing and everything. 1 second is fine. And also, I would like to do... a dark blue... thingamabob. Color picking. There it is. Let me see what that looks like over top of ice. That's reasonable. Okay. Bump the timer up to 3 seconds. There you go. Yeah. That works. And then next one starts soon. There we go, incoming from the blank. Boom. Alright, that's great. Wait a second. There's no hat. That could be an issue, huh? Do we need to define... Do we want to define a starting point, or do we just always start it one above the South Pole? Yeah. Boy, this tower defends itself. We'll let the map maker define the hat starting location with H. H. And it will always spawn on land. There we go. Now we have an actual hat. What else? Snowdrift. We need to have the ability to actually spawn a snowdrift. That should be a $sign. That one's easy. A snowbank, excuse me. I come? Well, that didn't work. Oh well. We did it, I assume. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and start winding down here because I don't want to push my throat any farther than I have tonight. So good progress. Scenarios. This is the ability for people to actually build levels. Now, granted, right now it's not pretty because there's no level builder, so and also this doesn't get respected at all. So right now you have to do all this by hand, which is terrible. We don't want that. So we're gonna build a really cool looking level builder at some point. We definitely want to have some kind of graphical builder for drawing the tiles. Which we don't have to spend a ton of time on that. The potential is endless, yes. I have done level editors before. So here's an example. Whoop. Let's see here. So this is not hard to do. Okay? And then eraser. Like that's not bad. Look, guys, it's Camel Tree for the Super Nintendo. Ooh. This was one of the first projects I built using an existing physics engine. So at least I learned a little bit from it. Not a ton, but a little bit. Bonk. Bonk. That's it. But the idea is that you can do this nice, neat sort of level editor kind of stuff. The big advantage we're going to have for doing a level editor for fight or flightless is that this is going to have a set maximum range. I don't have to like say, oh, what if they go too far? What if they keep building out to the side further and further? It's like, no, they're not. They can't. We're going to hard cut them off. 13 by 13 is probably going to be the maximum level size, nothing bigger. So we've got a static camera. That makes things so easy. We just need to look at where the mouse is, draw tiles, and then export to this format. But that's just for this. That's just for the layout, which is a relatively small piece of this. This is where the interest is in defining, all right, first I want this wave, then I want this wave. That's going to be really interesting to build, and I don't 100% know what it's going to look like. It's probably going to end up looking more like an office tool than anything else. But we'll figure it out. And for now, let's go hang out and go see GameCube because he's online. Crazy, isn't it? Tell him Dobbs sent you, or don't, whatever. But we have progress tonight. Gameplay-wise, there's nothing new, but we don't care about that. This is about building a foundation that the game can be built from, because I do not want to have to build these scenarios by hand. So I'm going to make pretty well sure that whatever level editor we come up with, I'm going to be okay with it, because I'm going to be using it. All right. Schedule. Sunday, I don't know what we're going to play. Monday is Dobbs Quest. I hope my voice is okay by then. We will see. If not, we'll probably do a very short episode or something. And then Wednesday, Mario Maker. That is all. Everyone have a wonderful night, and I will hopefully see you next time. Bye, guys.